Okay, so let's picture this. You have a huge presentation coming up. It's high
Yeah.
stakes.
hmm
And maybe, just maybe, English isn't your first language. You can feel your heart start to speed up, your hands get a little sweaty.
Oh, absolutely. And your brain just freezes. All the vocabulary you know just vanishes. It's a huge challenge.
It really is. So, our mission in this deep dive is to cut through all that noise. We've looked at the source material and pulled out the best tools, both psychological and practical, to help you walk onto that stage feeling confident.
And not just surviving, but actually thriving. And it starts with a really important mindset shift, the coach's note from the material.
Yes, this is so key. The goal is communication, not perfection.
Exactly. You have to get that into your head. Your audience, they want to understand you. They're on your side.
They're not the grammar police.
Not at all. If your message gets across clearly, you've won, even with a few little mistakes. So let's start with the mind games, the tricks to stop the shaking before it even starts.
I love this. Part one, 3 simple psychological shifts you can make right away.
These all work on that mind-body connection. They stop the physical panic from taking over your brain.
Okay, so trick number 1 is probably the easiest, but it's so powerful. Relabel your feelings. That feeling, the fast heartbeat, the clammy hands, we immediately think, oh no, I'm nervous.
Right. But what's so fascinating is that physiologically, the feeling of nervousness and the feeling of intense excitement are, well, they're almost identical.
It's the same adrenaline
It's
rush.
the exact same response. Your body is just ready for action. The problem is your brain has labeled that energy as danger.
So the hack is to consciously change the label. Instead of saying, I'm so nervous, you actually say out loud, I am excited to share this.
And this isn't just wishful thinking. You're actually reframing it for your brain. You're telling it, hey, this energy, this is good, this is drive. You're turning anxiety into fuel.
I love that, turning a negative into a positive. But what if the physical feeling is just too much? That brings us to trick number 2, the superhero stance.
Yeah, this one is all about how your body tells your mind what to feel. When we feel anxious, we tend to, make ourselves smaller.
Shoulders slumped, arms crossed, looking down.
Exactly. A closed posture. It signals weakness to our own brain.
So the idea is to fake it till you make it, physically. 2 minutes before you go on, you find a private spot.
An empty office, a bathroom stall, anywhere.
And you stand like a superhero. Hands on your hips, chest out, chin up.
And the science behind this is real. Holding a power pose like that for just 2 minutes has been shown to lower your cortisol levels.
That's the main stress hormone, right?
That's the one. And at the same time, it can increase testosterone, which is linked to feeling confident.
Okay, so lowering stress hormones. How does that help me find the right English phrase when I'm under pressure?
Because stress is a cognitive blocker. When cortisol is high, your brain is in fight or flight mode. It pulls energy away from complex things like, vocabulary and logic.
So by lowering the cortisol, you're literally clearing a path for your brain to think properly.
You're clearing the way for the language part of your brain to work. You can access the words you actually know instead of just freezing up.
That's fantastic. Okay, so we've won the internal battle. Now we're in the room. Trick number 3, the friendly face method.
A big crowd can feel like this sea of judgment. It's really intimidating.
Especially when you're worried about your accent or making a mistake.
So the action is simple. As soon as you look out, scan the room. Find one person, maybe 2, who looks engaged.
Someone smiling or nodding along.
Exactly, a friendly face. And then, here's the key. You pretend you're only having a conversation with them.
So you just ignore the person who looks bored or the one with their arms crossed?
You ignore them completely. This changes the entire dynamic from scary lecture to just a simple, friendly conversation.
And that must help with your pacing, too. You feel like you're in a conversation, you naturally slow down.
You slow right down. You're not rushing to get through a script anymore. And that slower pace is a gift to your audience. It gives them time to process what you're saying, and it gives you time to find your words. Pacing is clarity.
This is so good. Okay, so now the mind is set, but we need the tools. This is where it gets really interesting. The communication cheat sheet.
This is your lifeline. A set of phrases you memorize so you don't have to waste brain power on structure. You just plug them in and sound professional.
Let's start with the most important part. The hook, the opening. You have to grab them in the first 15 seconds.
Please don't just start with, "Hello, my name is." You need impact.
So you could start with a surprising fact. Something like, did you know that?
Or a question to get them thinking. Have you ever wondered why? That pulls them in immediately.
I also like setting the roadmap. By the end of this talk, you will understand. It tells them exactly what value they're going to get.
Yes. Okay, so you've hooked them. Now you need to guide them. That's all about transitioning.
These are like signposts. They keep the audience from getting lost, especially when you're moving between complex ideas.
And they make you sound so in control. Simple things like, let's move on to the next point.
Or, now that we've looked at the problem, let's look at the solution. It's so clear.
And using a phrase like, on the other hand, we must consider, is so much stronger than just saying but. It signals the logical shift instantly.
Okay, now for the part everyone dreads. The Q&A, handling difficult questions.
The number one rule here is integrity. Never, ever lie if you don't know the answer.
That's a huge one. It's so tempting to just try and fake it.
Don't use a professional response instead. If someone asks for data you don't have, just say it. That's a great question. I don't have those specific figures with me, but I will find out and email you by the end of the day.
Shows you're reliable. And what if you just? What if you didn't understand the question? Because of the accent or the phrasing?
Another great opportunity. Don't guess. Ask for clarification.
So something like, could you clarify what you mean by that?
Or even, could you please rephrase that for me? It shows respect for the question. And bonus, it buys your brain a few extra seconds to think.
So smart. Okay, let's bring it home. The closing. You can't just fade out.
No, you need a strong ending. This is where you lock in your key message.
You can summarize.
That's
Summarize the main points.
Or for real impact, I love this one. If you remember only one thing from today, it should be this. And then you deliver your core message, nice and simple.
And for non-native speakers, that summary part is key. Use simple, direct language there for maximum impact. Then you can finish with the standard, thank you for your time. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Perfect. So what does this all mean for you? Well, it depends on your role. The sources give some really specific advice for different people.
Let's run through them. First up, the student. Their goal is simple. Get a good grade.
For the student, structure is king. The evaluator is looking for organization.
So literally use those signposting words.
Absolutely. Say first, second, finally. Stick to your outline. Perfect structure shows you control the material, and it makes up for any small language mistakes.
Okay, next, the job seeker. They need to impress an interviewer.
Their golden tip is to use the STAR method. It's a storytelling framework.
Right, situation, task, action, result.
Exactly. It forces you to be specific about what you did and what the successful outcome was. It highlights your value perfectly.
I love that. Okay, what about the CEO or leader? They need to show authority.
For them, it is the power of the pause.
Interesting. So they should talk less.
They should talk slower. Nervous speakers rush, leaders are deliberate. After you make a really big point, just stop.
For how long?
3 full seconds.
Hmm.
That silence feels like confidence. It gives your words weight.
That's a great tip. Finally, the salesman goal.
Mm.
Persuade someone to buy.
The golden tip is to stop saying I and start saying you.
Oh, that's good.
It's a total shift in focus. It's not, I want to sell you this. It's, here's how you will save money. Here's how your life gets easier. It's all about their success, not your product.
That's a brilliant breakdown. Okay, so let's wrap this up with a final action plan. You've got the psychological tricks relabeling to excitement, the superhero stance, the friendly faces. You have the language cheat sheet for structure, and you know how to tailor it to your role.
So here are your final concrete steps. Write those cheat sheet phrases on a small card. Look at it right before you start. Practice in a mirror, or better yet, record yourself so you can hear where you rush. And then right before you speak, take one deep, slow breath. And remember, your ideas are worth hearing.
Absolutely. We've talked about how leaders use the power of the pause for authority, and how anyone can use the friendly face method to stay connected and calm. So here's a final thought for you to explore. How can you combine those two?
Ooh, interesting.
Imagine you get a really tough question. Could you use the power of the pause for 3 seconds to show you're not flustered? That shows authority. But during that pause, you lock eyes with your friendly face to keep yourself calm and connected.
Merging authority and warmth in that critical moment, that's a powerful combination, something to practice. Until next time, stay well informed.
And speak with confidence.